All right, I'm going to show you guys how to crush it in 2025 and how to take a quantum leap in your business and in your life. So I'm excited about it. Spent some time working on the slides this morning early. And so I'm excited about this. So a little bit about me. A lot of you guys know me, so I appreciate you guys being here. Some of you guys are on our team. Some of you guys are running our funnels. Some of you guys are new. Some of you guys are just checking things out. So I'm excited for everybody to be here. And so I'm recording this for a lot of people who couldn't, because I do think that the new currency is collaboration, because who you collaborate with is going to make a big difference over the next year and even 5 years. So a little bit about me. I love adventure. I've been in 31 plus countries. I love sports, played college baseball. I love my family. I love God, and I love investing in other businesses, business owners, people. I love investing in apartments. I'm trying to go from a small 31 units, and the goal is to go to 2,000 this next year. Faith, family, fitness, finances. This is my wife and I and Petra and Jordan. And then we also have us at Easter, kiddos at Easter. So helping agents just like you is what we do, create freedom with one funnel. So I was new. So people like James was new in his market. He moved from Oregon down to California, him and his wife, and they made $409,000 in a new market. We got people like Brian. A lot of you guys know Brian. He actually just texted me, but he was riding for, oh, he's going to jump on here in a little bit. But anyways, he was working for Uber just to pay the bills. And then after just a little bit, he started crushing it with us. And he went from, he did 4 deals that first month. And then we got people like Melissa, who put 6 deals under contract, put a deal under contract in 6 days. We got Brooks, who put 8 under contract in 2 months. And then just here recently, we put 4 under contract, 11 new listings, and 15 people interested in 2 weeks with our cash offer. So that's what we're running. And you only need one. You only need one funnel to make it work. You don't need 100. You just need to figure out exactly how to do it right. So a little bit of my story. I was actually thinking about my story and what that looked like, and how I got into real estate. So it was actually right before Jordan. So I was actually, some of you guys will know it, but it was a country club here, Glacier Club. One of my mentors was up there, and he was saying, he was talking about real estate, and he was talking about how investing in real estate and just what made him successful was real estate. And so I was very intrigued. I was in marketing at the time, and so and that was right before we went to Israel and Jordan. And then we're in Jordan, and we're in these, like, I want you guys to picture like these Bedouin camps out in the middle of the desert, kind of like Moab looking, but just way wilder. And we're out in the middle of the desert, these Bedouin camps, and we're sitting around this fire, and there's this guy who's, I use the word gangster, but he's not a gangster. Like, he's just, like, you could tell he's a G. Like, he has just been very successful in life. And he's got his 2 older sons with their wives and his daughter and her husband. And he's just traveling with the whole family. They were in France and Italy and just like traveling all over the world. And I was like, man, his name's Chuck. I was like, Chuck, hopefully he'll watch this one day. But I was like, Chuck, what do you do, man? And he's like, I'm in real estate. And I was like, all right, this is confirmation. Like, I'm going to jump into real estate. And so I jumped in, and except I didn't jump in, I've had a lot of failures, probably more than I've had successes. I failed just to get into real estate. I failed my test 12 times. I spent $200,000 in a year to try to figure out marketing, and 90% of it didn't work. I've definitely had some big failures in the industry, and I'm thinking about it, because I was trying to write my 3 to 5 year plan. And I was like, where have I been in the last 5 years? And I haven't even been in real estate for 5 years. So a lot can happen. People always overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 3 to 5. And so that's part of what we're going to be talking about today is like, how do we help you take a quantum leap in your business in a year and then go and crush it in 3 to 5. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And so my best year in real estate, made 800,000. And so, but it's not about how much money you make; it's what you do with the money. And so that's really key here. So why is this important? Why is marketing important? Why is setting goals important? Why is being strategic in your business important? There's a few things, right? Most of what you guys learned about leads is dead wrong. The cost of leads are going up. To scale your business, you need listings. Focusing on listings will allow you to be hyper-focused and win. So is this for you? If you want to be the go-to luxury agent in your market, this is for you. If you want to double and triple your business, this is for you. If you want to use video to dominate your market, this is for you. And if you're worried about money in your future because of the shifting market or whatever's happening in the economy, you're going to discover that listings is the authority. So house rules, this is an opportunity for you to say, just this isn't for me. This isn't some sleazy sales strategy where you falsely claim you have a bunch of like high-end buyers or cash offers when you really don't. This isn't a 15% implementation strategy, and you can't say this is what you want, but then not take massive action. So I'm going to talk about a few things. You can win a chess game in 3 moves, right? And so I believe you can win real estate in 3 moves. But first, it starts with strategic planning, talks about what your offer is. We'll talk about a little bit about AI leads, our funnels, talk a little bit about how to convert those when you're sleeping, and then live the lifestyle that you want to live. So here's my question to you guys. What business owner are you? Are you the business owner who has built a house and hard times come, the economy changes, things get hard, and you get taken out? Or are you the business owner who, regardless of the economy, regardless of what's going on, regardless of if people are buying or selling, you're still crushing it? That's the question, right? So I believe, you should ask, seek, and knock. A lot of people are like, well, I do ask, but then you're not seeking, right? You're not knocking. All of these things are action. You're supposed to take action, massive action, not just some action. So I do believe in life, you need to ask, right? And then you need to listen, and then you need to seek, and you need to knock. You can't just be doing one thing. You need to be doing all of those things. They're all proactive things, not just reactive. And so I want you guys to start living in the realm of possibility. Like as you go into 2025, what would it look like? What does it look like to live in the realm of possibility for you, right? Doesn't matter what's happened in the past. Doesn't matter what is your current situation. It's hard to dream in your current situation when you're trying to survive, right? And sometimes you got to be taken outside of your reality to be able to dream again. And I'll explain what that looks like in a little bit. And I'm not talking about drugs or shrooms or anything like that. I'm talking about just being taken out of your current situation, your current circumstance. So, let's just take a few minutes, if you're taking notes, like what do you, in a perfect world, like if anything is like possible, because it is, what would this 2025 year look like for you? Like what in the realm of possibility, right? You had, maybe it's possible for you to get 10 listings. Maybe it's 20, maybe it's 100. Maybe you want to make your first $1 million. Maybe, what is it for you living in the realm of possibility, right? That's what we want to talk about right now. Like what is possible for you in this year of 2025? So just start jotting down whatever comes to mind. This is like what I call kind of just like a blank canvas. You're just, it's your idea board. You're just writing things down. There's no right or wrong answer. Just write down what comes to mind. What does it look like for you to living in the realm of possible? This is possible. All right. So in the last 3 to 5 years, who have you become? In the last 3 to 5 years, who have you become? Like I said, there's a lot that happens in 3 to 5 years versus your 1 year. Like I said, a lot of people underestimate what they can do in 3 to 5 and overestimate what they'll do in a year. So who have you become in the last 3 to 5 years? All right. And so if you look at the past and then your present and then your future, I want you to play, and like I said, in the realm of possibility. And so what's going on in the past, right? Like people always, they have a hard time dreaming because they have nothing to go off of except what's already happened to them, right? And they make their goals, they make their dreams, they do all those things based on the past. And so what I want to help you guys figure out is like, how do you not just make decisions based on what's happened to you in the past? Because that'll hold you back, right? Being able to see into the future is like faith comes through hearing. And in order to hear something, you have to speak it, right? And so you guys got to be able to see into the future, and seeing and having a vision is being able to see things before it's actually happened, right? And so for you guys, like being able to see like what's possible in your life can be a hard thing to do when you just have your past driving you back, like holding you back. And so there's a what do you call it? like a parable. It says, forgetting what's behind and straining on towards what's ahead. So you need to really forget the past and move forward. It's the same thing when you do an absorption rate for a client, right? A lot of people just talk about CMAs, and I say CMAs are dead. Because if you just focused on what's happened in the past, then you don't know what your competition is. You don't know what you're competing against. So it's important to understand like the whole picture, all of it, not just some of it. So 3 steps to a compelling vision. Step number 1 is document your wins. Document what's worked for you this year. Document, I know we're talking about the past, but document the wins. You gotta be excited. It doesn't matter if it's like, yeah, I got my first listing, or if maybe it's like, hey, it doesn't matter what it is, but document that win that you have. The next thing is get away and connect. Like get away and connect with God for 4 to 48 hours. And what I mean by that is like get into nature. It's easy for us here, but if you're in New York or in Phoenix and surrounded by concrete, it could be a little bit harder. But get into nature, get into a quiet space, go to the beach, go somewhere, go to the lake, go somewhere where you can get away and just be still. And what I like to do is just say, hey, God, what do you have for me? And then I just sit there and listen, and I just write down. And these are some of the best ideas that I get, right? And then start to write your future, like 1 year, and then go into your 3 and 5 years. And what that looks like is you just write down the things that you want to do. And this could be, in the real estate industry, this could be around your fitness, this could be around your family, this could be around, tangible things that you want to buy or own. This could be, just start writing. There's no real wrong answer here. It's just kind of like an idea dump still. But you're being a little bit more strategic when you get away and just say, hey, because I believe that all of us can connect to something that's bigger than us, right? And if your dreams, I have written in my wallet. I haven't had my wallet with me because I just use my phone to pay for stuff. But every time when I used to open up my phone or my wallet, it would say, "Dream so big, the only way it's possible is with God." Right? You should be dreaming so big that it's first off, it's bigger than you, and it's not like it seems impossible. If it's not, you're probably not dreaming big enough. You're probably just, you have a limiting mindset around something, around you, maybe what's possible, maybe something that's happened in the past, maybe it was how you were raised, and how do you break that limiting mindset? It's one of those ways is by like compensating, or not overcompensating, but filling yourself up with so much truth that there's no room for lies, right? Because a lot of times we get stuck in listening to lies, right? I'm not good enough. I'm not good as so and so. I can't do that, right? And you listen to these lies, and you need to replace the lies with truth. And so these are the 3 steps to a compelling vision. Document the wins, get away and connect, and get into a quiet space, and just start to listen. Get into that space where you can just start to write. I'm going to give you some tools as well to be able to do that. And then so I have my gifts that I'm going to give to you guys. I created a spreadsheet. A lot of you guys have some of this stuff. A lot of you guys don't. And there's more things I'm going to add to it. So let me pull up that, and I'll throw it in at the end. But it's my Google Drive document. Let me share my screen here. All right, so how to execute, right? So your 1 year vision, giveaway AI prompt. So this is a prompt. So I'll explain each thing, like how to execute. A lot of people have a dream, but they don't have no plan. Like they don't know how to actually execute what they want to do, right? If you just have a dream but don't know how to execute it, no strategy behind it, then it's just like you're gonna just let the wind take you wherever it goes, right? But if you have a compass and you have a map and you have, you have the wind pushing you, then you're going to know like, hey, this is where I'm going. But you got to know how to actually execute that, right? You got to know which way to turn the rudder, right? So 1 year vision. So I'll share with you kind of like our 1 year vision and what that looks like. I have an AI prompt that helps you get clarity around how to market to your client. This is one of my favorite things, and we use this every week for our team. And you guys will have this. And you just go to, for everything I give you, just go to File, make a copy, and you guys can have it and have it be your own. So we have our weekly agenda. We have our 1 page plan. We have our brand promise, core values, vision, annual objections, long-term. operations quarterly, what are the goals, sales quarterly, production, marketing, HR quarterly, critical numbers, understanding like, cost per acquisition, understanding your revenue per employee, like how much revenue does that employee bring in. Scorecard is figuring out really, your KPIs, key performing indicators, like what's working, what's not working, how many emails are you sending, how many people are hitting your website, how many appointments have you set, how many multiple offers have you put in, all of those types of things, right? And then we always go over what's working and what's not working. I deleted some of this just because I can't give you the whole playbook, but I gave you the framework for sure. Giveaway scale. So this is how you scale your business. And then manifesto, right? This is how you manifest your future over the next 3 to 5 years. And there's a few other things I'm going to throw in this, but I'll give you guys all this at the end. And this is more to be strategic with your business in your life. I think a lot of people don't really live life by strategy. They kind of just wander through life and hope they end up at a good place, and it doesn't work like that. So it doesn't always work like that. So all right. So if the goal doesn't excite you, then don't write it down, right? If it doesn't actually excite you guys, then you shouldn't write it down. If it's not like, man, this is something that pumps me up, just don't write it down. It's that simple. Like, we should be living in a place where it's like, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to get up and live my day. I'm excited to go to work. I'm excited. And if you're not, then you shouldn't do it, right? And I would even say, like, if real estate isn't exciting, you're probably doing it the wrong way. There might be a better way of doing it. I'll throw that out there. And if you're not, real estate is a lot of times just a vehicle for people to get the freedom that they want. A lot of people don't get into real estate by default, right? It's not like they are little kids and they're like, man, I want to be a real estate agent. Except for my daughter. I'll tell you, my daughter, Anaya, she's like, Dad, I want to sell homes like you. I'm like, let's go. You're going to be better than me. And I'm serious. She's a stud. But a studette. I have 3 girls, so they tell me all the time, studette. But so it should be exciting. And a lot of times real estate is just a vehicle to help you get to where a lot of times maybe you guys want to be investors, or maybe you have a passion project, maybe you want to write a book, maybe you want to have
Is Kyle frozen for the rest of you guys? Yeah, you are.
Yeah, same here. Jesse, let him know.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
All right, am I back?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You're back.
All right, that's weird. I'm gonna switch. How does my mic sound? Does it sound all right? It sounds clean. Cool.
Yeah, everything sounds clean. Last thing you said was your daughters are incredible students.
Students. Yeah, no, they are. And so what I was saying is basically, like, if your dreams, your goals don't excite you, then you're missing it. And they should, right? You should be dreaming like way bigger. And it should excite you, because if it's not, then it's not big enough, right? So I believe that this next year in real estate is going to be one of the biggest. I mean, there's a transfer of wealth happening as we speak over the next 5 years. And I think being in the real estate world, the financial world, I think is going to be is game changing. And I think you could set yourself up for life, and not just create, generational wealth, but, be able to pass things down to your children's children, right? Like, that's what I truly believe over these next 5 years. And so the opportunity, the meaning of opportunity is a good position, chance, or prospect as for advancement or success. The Latin word is, I'm going to butcher this, but it's ob portum veniens, coming towards a port, a favorable wind blowing towards a port. So I believe that we're going to have favorable winds over this last year. It's been a hard year in real estate for a lot of people. And a lot of people have gotten kind of, sucked out of the industry. They couldn't hang. And so they've had to go into other stuff. But I do believe for the people who are here or continuing to show up, the number one rule of success is to show up. And so for those who are going to continue to show up, I think you're going to have a lot of success and be able to take market share over the next 5 years. And so with the tech industry and with things and AI and cryptocurrencies and all that stuff changing so rapidly. I know we live in a very small, for those of you who are in Durango, like we live in a very small market compared to like New York. But we're going to have I'm really, dang it. I wonder if it's the internet. All right. What about now? All right, cool. All right, so a lot of you guys have seen this, right? Everybody get the emotional cycle of change, right? Nobody likes change. Things are hard, so you don't want to hang. And so, but when everybody gets into real estate, they have that uninformed optimism. They're like, "Oh man, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna crush it." And then they get into informed pessimism, and then they go into valley of despair. And this is where most people turn around. They turn around when things get hard. But if you can get out of this valley of despair, you can push through. You get into this informed optimism and then success, right? And then you can live in this realm of success consistently. But anytime you start something new, whether it's a new funnel or anything, so it's really important to figure out like, hey, how do I get out of this valley, and how do I use it as a ramp, and how can I get through that valley as quick as possible, right? How do I build momentum? Money follows momentum, and so we're trying to do 30 listings in 30 days. And it's a push, it's a grind, even through like the holidays and all this stuff. And so we're pushing. And, I don't know if we'll hit that, but, the goal is to. We've written 67 different cash offers, or 69, Jesse, 69 cash offers in the last 2.5, 3 weeks. So if we can convert half of that, we hit our goal. So I want you guys to check this out, right? I think I'm gonna make this into a t-shirt. You can steal it, but mine will look better. But I'm just joking. So I want you guys, I was gonna try to have you guys figure out what this meant, but I'm gonna just tell you and save you the headache. But I believe this is the formula to success, and it's this right here. So passion plus talent times association times action plus faith. And so it's yeah, passion. So what are you passionate about? Like what gets you excited? Like what do I know Louis excited about cryptocurrencies, right? So how does Louis take that passion of cryptocurrency and make it connect with real estate? And then talent, what are you good at? Like what's actually like, what are you actually good at? Like some people try to do things they're not good at, and it's like, no, that doesn't work. Like figure out what you're actually good at. Like I know Landry, he's good at shooting a bow, and I know, so there's different people that have different talents, different gifts. And so I think it's important. Oops. I think it's important to be able to figure out like what you're actually good at. And then association. Association is huge. Like you should know, like, hey, my sphere of influence, who I'm associated with, is gonna make a difference over the next 5 years. I was just talking to a guy, literally. I was kind of rushing to put all this together, and because I was on the phone with an investor client of mine, and he has an oil and gas company that is mining cryptocurrencies. that it's like run by like the oil and gas is running these computer machines to mine cryptocurrencies, and you can invest in the oil and gas because you can invest in oil and gas and have 100% tax write-off. So let's say that you go and crush it this year and you make $405,000 in real estate, you're going to have a lot to write off. Let's say that you got, 50 grand, 60, 70, 80, 100 grand you got to write off. You can write off 100% of that and have it go into the oil and gas and have it go into these mining, like these, and make 20%, at least 20% plus your Bitcoin that it mines, right? You're making 20% on your money plus the cryptocurrency, and it's 100% write-off. Like that's crazy, right? Nobody's telling you. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that. So that's why I was like, man, my brain, so who you associated with, right? Action, right? Some people don't take enough action. If you knew, like, hey, this is the answer, then you would dig. Like, if you knew, like, hey, right here is the treasure chest, like right underneath me is the treasure chest, and it was just 3 feet down, then you would dig with a shovel. You would dig with a backhoe. You wouldn't be digging with a spoon, right? A lot of people, like, man, they're just not sure, and so they don't take enough action. And when I saw this cash offer thing, I was at a multifamily conference with Michael Reese down in Dallas, and I was like, man, when I saw it, him and Woods presented it, or it's just me, it was me, him, and Jimmy and Woods. I was like, man, I feel like I could take over the world. And if I didn't take massive action, if I would have tiptoed into it, I would not have the results that I would have. If I would have decided to dig with a spoon, I would not have. Jimmy texted me the very next day. He said, hey, are you going to dig with a spoon or a shovel? And I said, a shovel. I said a big ass shovel. That's what I said. and and that's what you got to do. You got to take massive action, not just some action. Some people are like, oh, I'm taking action. I'm doing better than most, right? That's what they compare themselves, right? I don't have time to compare myself, right? I'm just taking massive action and that's it. And then add faith to it, right? So this is the formula for your success. Passion plus talent times association times action plus faith, right? That formula is going to help you be successful in no matter what you do, right? And maybe sprinkle on a little experience. I should have like a little fairy dust person, experience, because a lot of times you can speak from that experience, even if it was a bad experience, right? If you had a bad client, if you had a bad, whatever, right? You can speak from that experience, right? And so experience is good. You don't always need it to have that success. That's why you have association. But to be able to speak from personal experience always helps. Okay. Um, so I was at this conference and then I mentioned multifamily, and there's gal, Sharon, she co-wrote Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant. Great book. This was his CPA. And so one of the things she taught us when we were there, she said she wanted us to say, like, I am the authority. I am the authority. Why not? Like, if you want to be the cryptocurrency real estate guy, like, be the authority. If you want to be the AI real estate agent, be the authority. If you want to be the land and ranch, um, you know, agent, then be the authority. And why not? Why not you? Like, like the only thing that's holding you back is your limiting belief. That's it. The resources are out there. Throw you on mute. And so here's the thing: you got to solve problems and solve a need. That's it. That's what's going to be, what's going to help you be successful. Solve a problem, solve a need. And then it's what you do with it. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you make. It's what you actually do with that money. It doesn't matter what gifts you have, what talents you have. It's what you actually do with your gifts. It's what you actually do with your talents. Because I've ran my business off of talent, and you can only go so far. You need to have systems and processes. You need to have a team. You need to be strategic in what you do. You can only go so far on your own, right? So it's what you do with your gifts, and it's what you do with your talent. It's what you do with your money. You can go make 5, 10, $20 million in a year, but it's what you do with it. All right. I'm going to give you guys some resources on just how to be, effective with your time. I have a video I actually just sent Jesse on how to be effective with your time. It's on my YouTube channel. But pace determines your progress, right? There's something called first mover advantage. So when you take action, massive action, and that first mover advantage, there's something to that, right? And then here's the affirmation. So there's Newton time versus Einstein time. Right? And Einstein time is there. You are the owner of your time. You are where time comes from. I have the abundance of time. I create the reality of time. You create your time. When you live in the other world, it's like, hey, you're limited by time. So here's some winners control their time. Here's some just, you can just screenshot this. I'll go over it really quick, but we have mini days. We start our day, I start my day between 4 to 4:30. That's my mini day. And then I have another day from 8 to 12, and then I have another day from 12 to 4. And then I probably have another day from like 4 to 8 with my family. And my wife tries to keep me up late. And so she's a night owl and I'm not. So, but um, actually, I'm going to give you guys a pro tip for sleeping. So I actually had this like cut in my eye that my daughter accidentally scratched my eye a couple years ago. And so I had to go get this. So I had to get these eye drops for it. And they think it opened back up because my eye started to like what they call like, it was just getting heavy. And so I looked like a cyclops almost every day. Maybe I do like right now because it's still getting better. So I went back to the doctor and he's like, try sleep. He thinks I sleep with my eyes like not all the way shut. I'm like, what? Megan's like, no, you definitely shut your eyes. He's like, but it's barely. And so I was thinking like, you know that one song, Sleep with One Eye Open. All right, anyways. But he wanted me to tape my eyes shut. So I've started to tape both my eyes shut. And there's this thing I was reading. If you tape your mouth shut and you just breathe into your nose, you're gonna get into this deep sleep. I promise you, like the last 5 nights, I've slept so good, even if it's only like 6, 7, 8 hours. Like I'm sleeping like really good, deep sleep. Like one day I got up and I was like, I was so like I think I was in such a deep sleep I almost fell over because I was like dizzy. Like I was just maybe I wasn't breathing. I don't know. But I promise you, you will get into such a deep sleep if you just tape your mouth shut. All right. Live intentionally through your calendar. Don't overbook. Leave some gaps. And I'm not perfect at this. Jesse looks at my calendar, and I'm sure he laughs sometimes. And then 10 p.m. Don't schedule meetings until 10 p.m. So I try to keep my mornings open for building momentum into the rest of my day, like in-person meetings. Time blocks are the most important task, systems and automation. If you don't have systems and automation in your business, you're missing it, right? AI and automation are not going to replace people, but the people using AI and automation will, period. All right. Use for personal and business, right? My wife looks at my calendar. She knows where I'm at. She knows what's going on. Review my calendar every morning or the day before. Don't have many requiring appointments, like too many. Like I think we get into a place where we overbook ourselves. Don't skip calendar appointments. If it's in your calendar, make sure it happens. If you skip the appointment, have an accountability person and say, hey, I missed an appointment, and make that appointment be 100 burpees or something. Like have there be some type of consequence other than just like, oh, I missed another appointment. Okay. And that's hard to do when you're in real estate. I get it. I've been in your shoes. I know what's going on. But you got to declare war on your focus. What controls your focus controls your life. So here's just some quick math, and then I'll give you guys an app that I use to help be effective with my time. So the average person works 2,000 hours a year. And so with that said, the average person is making 300,000 a year. Well, that's not the average person. Let's just say like in real estate, you want to make $300,000 a year, right? That's 2,000 hours, $150 an hour. That's $2.50 a minute, right? And the average person is spending 3 hours on social media a day. That's 500 hours a day on social media, right? So if you're not making $500 a day on social media, then you shouldn't be on it 3 hours, right? That's not the best use of your time. You got to understand like high leveraged activity, HLA, increasing profit activity, IPA, like the beer, 2,500 hours a week in 10K a month, 120K a year. So by declaring war on your focus and not being stuck on social media, you're going to be saving yourself 120K a year if you pay yourself this amount, right? If you're making 300,000, right? That's the breakdown. So every time you get distracted, it takes 23 minutes and 15 seconds to recover from that distraction. And that's hard, right? So we live in a world of distraction. So one of my favorite apps that I've been using right now, it kind of keeps me from getting into my social media. It's called App Block. It's just APP and then block, and then it's got like I'll just show you. My phone's black and white. Maybe that's a hack too. But I may look like I'm on social media a lot, but I'm not. That's why you have systems and processes. But it has like work, family time, all that kind of stuff. So, and it breaks it down. Like it doesn't allow me into certain apps during certain time periods. And so it's just a good tool. So how to execute a 45-minute blitz. I like to use blitzes. You schedule this. This is your, like, what would happen in your business if you actually didn't get interrupted for 45 minutes? Like if you were just hyper focused on one thing, like, hey, I'm going to make my calls. Hey, I'm going to do this email blast. Like, hey, I'm going to shoot video for 45 minutes. Like what would actually happen if you were just hyper focused for like, let's just call it 3 times throughout the week for 45 minutes on the high leverage activity, the things that you should be getting paid the most dollar amount for, right? So avoid your phone unless you really need it. Close the doors, close your windows. I'm not saying like live in a black room. I'm talking about the windows on your computer. Like you should only have like 2 apps open or 2 windows open, not 100. I'm guilty of this at times too. I'm like, oh man, I got way too many apps open. I just go through. And when I go into a blitz, I shut them all down and I leave the 2 open that are the most important, right? And then when you're done, put it on the shelf and move on to the next thing, right? A lot of times we carry our work into our home life, or we carry what's going on, at home into our work. And so you got to figure out how to put it on the shelf. And as mentally, maybe you do it before you walk into the house. You're like, hey, I'm putting this client or this problem or this person on the shelf. Boom, right? I'll pick it up tomorrow. And maybe you manually do that. And that will be something that will actually help you as you go in and you can be intentionally with your family. Because one of the things, I get asked is like, Kyle, how do you live such a high productive life, but still, make time for your family? It's a hard thing to do. And so with that, I wouldn't say, a lot of people's like, oh, you just need balance. And I think balance isn't the right word because it's impossible. It's impossible to go work 8 hours and also have 8 hours with your family. It's impossible. So it's not an act of balance, and it's an act of intentionality with the time that you have. Like being hyper focused and intentional with the time that you have, and making your spouse, making your kids, making all the people in your business feel seen and feel important and feel like they matter. And because you're there, I know that there's times when I have conversations with Jesse and he knows I'm not there, right? He's like, yeah, you're not making sense, Kyle, because I'm not there, right? But I also know when there's times where he knows I'm there and I'm intentional, right? So SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, risky, time frame. This is how you want to set your goals, whether it's with your faith, your family, your fitness, your finances, your friends, fun. Those 6 F's, like faith, family, fitness, finance, fun, friends, right? Those are all things that you should have on your calendar throughout the year. Like a lot of people, I don't always say the last 2, fun and friends, because a lot of times I know there's a lot of guys on this call, and guys can have a hard time just with 4 things. So if I gave you 6, it might be too much. I'm just joking. But you need to have all those things on there, right? You're all 6 of those things. You need to have time with your boys. You need to have time, with your family. You need to have all those things. They should all have goals, and specific, measurable, attainable, risky time frame. What you measure, that's why your KPIs matter, right? Key performing indicators. That's why you got to measure what's working and what's not working, right? Because what you matter increases, right? Or what you measure increases. Oops. I'm going to skip over that story just for the sake of time. My daughter wrote me this, so she had somebody at our church write this when it was Mother's Day, and she gave me and she came home with this. It says, "Dad, I want you to sell a house so we can go to the beach." Right? So your why has to be bigger than you. You got to be reminded of the things that are important to you. And if it's not bigger than you, then it's not worth doing. Right? It's got your why. You could have the car, you could have the GPS up, you could be in the right vehicle, the right car, you could have the map, you could have the right co-pilot, you could have all this stuff right. But if you don't have the gasoline in the car, or it's not charged, you're not going nowhere. Like, you need your gasoline, and that charge is your why, period. Like, your why has to be bigger than you, okay? All right, I'm gonna give a few hints on how to make your videos better as we dive into this. And then I'm gonna also show you some of our top performing funnels and what's working in those funnels. So hook, retain, reward. That should be the framework of your videos. Every video should have a hook. Everything should retain. Everything should have a reward. Meaning like, hey, and I'm going to show you what the hooks are. These are 3 types of hooks. 3 hooks to go viral. Like, it's a list, steps, or stories. That's what hooks are. Let me throw you on mute.
Fell apart. It happened in the spring of 2008.
Mute. All right. So 3 hooks to go viral. How do I create 7 steps? How I create YouTube videos in 7 steps. I have a video right now, how to create YouTube videos in 3 steps. I'll give you those 3 apps right now. We just did a coaching call on this last week. But Riverside, or I guess ChatGPT, Riverside, and Opus Clips. You can create videos, like really nice videos, in 5 minutes with those apps. Okay. So how to create YouTube videos in 3 steps. Boom. Stories. Almost every slide has a story. I'm going to tell you guys, help you guys become better storytellers. One of the, yeah, we'll just keep going. So the perfect framework. So you open with a story. If you remember this webinar, I started off with a story. That was something, right? I started off when I was in Jordan. Started off with a story. My story is not unique. I said my story is not unique. Many people start in other industries in real estate. I have I believe statement, credibility statement, road mapping. Hey, this is how you win real estate in 3 steps, right? Those are all things that you need to do in your framework of your intro to whatever you're doing, whether it's a video walkthrough or whether it doesn't matter what it is, right? You need to have a roadmap. You need to have all these pieces to it. Okay. All right. The art of storytelling, story braid, heart, head, hands, heart. So if you can lead with the heart, and then you can have head, like tangible action steps, hands, like how to actually do it, and then finish with the heart, right? So make your stories vivid, tangible by incorporating specific details and examples. Concrete details make the narrative more relatable and memorable. Parables, right? If you tell stories in parables or with your clients, right? Every time a client brings me a problem, I tell a story. Period. Every time a client says, well, what about this? Then I tell a story because it's memorable. They remember it. If I said, or I'll come with a fact, right? Like, hey, videos consume 60,000 times faster than anything else. That's a fact. It's also a story. Hey, the reason why I use video in my business is because it's consumed 60,000 times faster than anything else. Let me give you 3 steps on how to make video with AI. Boom, 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 right? We just did this in our business. We created a 60-minute video on how to create video with these 3 steps. And then I'm telling a story. You can use detail in a story. Perfect example. Let me see. Yeah, I'll tell that story. No, we'll just keep moving. Yeah, it was a dead deer. I'll tell the story. So I was driving. I was actually talking to one of my mentors, Michael, and this is about 8 months ago, and it's like 450 driving north on Highway 550. This is about I guess a year ago. There's snow on the ground, so sometime in the winter. And I'm driving, and I'm talking to Michael, and all of a sudden this deer comes. I see it, but there's nothing I can do. I'm going like 65, 70, 2-lane highway. I can't swerve. There's traffic coming on, and I'm just like, boom, nail this little guy. And I'm like, oh no. I was like, Michael, I gotta go. I just hit a deer. He's like, you what? I was like, I just hit a deer. And he's like, okay, you all right? Yeah, I'm good. So I'm driving. I get out, check my car, and I'm driving home, and I'm like, man, what are you trying to teach me? Well, like what good is going to come from me hitting this deer? And my buddy Matthew pops in my head, who lived around the corner, and I was like, hey, Matthew. It's like, man, you want to cut you? I was like, Matthew, what are you doing? He's like, I'm cooking some burgers. I'm like, nice. I was like, you want some more burgers? He's like, what? I was like, yeah, man, I just hit a deer. You want to go help me gut it, and I'll split the meat with you. He's like, yeah. So there we go. We split the meat, and my father-in-law did all this, did all this stuff, and there we go. So, so I think we just finished our last steak. It was nice. It was nice. But if you see with that story, I gave details. Let's go back to the story braid, right? I didn't really start with the heart. I did a little bit, right? If I would start with the heart, I would say, hey, many of you guys have been in car accidents, right? Because then instantly, whether you've been or you know somebody, like even actually without saying many of you guys have been in car accidents, by just talking about being in a car accident, there was instant relatable, like there was some type of heart tug. It wasn't super heart tuggy, but it was there, right? Started with the head, went into like the actual parts of the story, hands, and then with the heart. So I didn't finish it all the way. If I would have said like, hey, how do I didn't say it without saying it. Like, how do you turn, how how do you turn like bad situations into something good, right? How do you turn lemons into lemonade? Client profile is super important. If you didn't get an AI prompt from us at the beginning, like when you kind of registered, you should have. And that prompt will kind of give you basically who your ideal client profile is, and you can do a ton of different marketing stuff with that. So if you didn't get that, throw it in the chat. I'll make sure you get it at the end. But understanding that, and then your traffic, like where are they going? Is it search versus social media, like Facebook versus Instagram? Let me throw you on mute. And here's the thing, like Google's great. So Google is an amazing tool. People are intently looking for something versus Facebook. You're kind of distracting someone from something and then they're coming into it. And then your offer, right? Understanding like what bait are you fishing with? If you're not fishing with the right bait, if you're not, we run a new construction funnel, we run a cash offer funnel, we run golf course funnels, run waterfront funnels. I mean, you kind of name it, the framework's the same. We just figure out who your ideal client is and we plug in that, right? But we know what works and what doesn't work. And here's the thing: most people are like on Facebook, like 80% of people want to do nothing, 17% are going to do something in the next 8 to 12 months, and then you got 3% that are going to do something right now. And most people work on that 3 to 1%, and they're like, hey, this doesn't work. I'm spending money and it doesn't work. But if you were sending them your newsletter and you were sending them YouTube videos and you were adding value to the marketplace, and you became that celebrity agent in your marketplace, or people knew who you were, and that's what we call like, how are you following, or how are you following up? How are you retargeting them? How are you adding value to your database? Because eventually, like those leads that are coming into your system, and you're not adding value to them, they're going to go with somebody else. They're going to go with the most recent person that's added value to them. And so um, there's a way for you to become instead of being a 3% closer to a 20% closer, or 15% closer to a 30% closer, all with adding value and doing it in the right way. But you got to, clearly articulate your value proposition. Here's our YouTube channel. You can check it out just for fun. But at Kyle_Kunkel, you can take a little picture of that. And we have a ton of free content on there, adding stuff every single week. We're going to add about 12 videos coming up, all on AI stuff that I think is changing the game, that is just tools that could help you grow your business, or have your ISA or inside or your assistant or virtual assistant do some of this stuff. Here, you can follow us here on Instagram if you like, adding value there. Cool. But so I'm going to share with you a video. People consume video 60,000 times faster than any other place out there. Like video is key, right? And if you don't have good video, if you don't have good value for these people, they're just going to kind of move on. And so here's a video that we shot of one of our recent listings. It's my personal best listing at 8.5 million. But with that said, we took a lot of time, created a great video, but we're getting traction through our video because people see like the value. Like, and if you notice, I'm not going to show you the whole video, but this video, like the first part of it is just the hook with no words. Like we don't even say a single word before we've hooked them. And so there's ways to create. People are like, oh, do I have to get in front of the camera? The answer is no, you don't have to. You just have to be able to hook them. And there's ways you can create hooks. There's, hey, 3 steps. There's storytelling. There's all kinds of different ways. And I'm not going to go into that today. We're more focused on the funnels, but I did want to show you the video real quick. So. Oops, sorry. So yeah, if you have any buyers who want a 18,000 square foot house on 204 acres, let me know. It's a pretty pristine property. But how I got that listing, it's kind of interesting. Like the way that we even got that listing was I called my boy Louis and I was like, "Hey, Louis, he's in New York, and that's where the trust was held." I was like, "Hey, can you go to this address and get an email or a phone number for me?" And he went into their private family office and got an email, emailed them, got the answer, and there we go. We were off to the races and met with them, landed the listing, but it was all about who you knew. And I believe that connection and your people that you're connected with is like the new currency, right? And it's always been about who you know, not about like what you know. But I feel like we're in a world that you can be connected all across the world. I mean, you guys, I mean, we got people from St. Louis, we got people from Florida, we got people from all over on this call, all because of a simple system called Zoom, right? And so technology, I mean, is changing the game, and we want to help agents who maybe don't want to deal with the tech. They just want to be able to answer their phone and clearly articulate their value proposition and be able to figure out like, hey, how do I go to that next level of my business? And it doesn't matter, we use this as just kind of figure out what stage of the business you're in. Maybe some of you guys are solopreneurs, maybe some of you guys are growers with an assistant, maybe you're a hustler, maybe you're, a visionary and you got 12 plus people on your team, and everybody has pain points. Everybody, maybe you feel lost. Maybe you're on a roller coaster ride. Maybe you're on the white waters. Maybe you're in a tar pit and you just kind of feel trapped. Your best agents are just kind of moving on to a different place or different brokerage, and it's not sticky enough to keep them there, right? So there's so many different pieces of the business, no matter what stage you're at, and it's good to know like what are the mistakes to avoid, what's the X factor, what's the goal, what are some of the things that you need to actually do to take that next step in your business. And so this is a great tool that we use to identify where you're at, because if you can't diagnose and be honest with where you're at, you don't know where you can go to, right? Because you're not being honest with where you're currently at. And so that's like the biggest thing when I look at agents or help agents. I say, hey, where are you at? And no fluff. Like, let's be real. I'll be real. I'll tell you, hey, I failed my real estate test 12 times. I spent over $200,000 in a year on marketing before I figured it out, right? Like, so I've been through pains and I understand. I don't know everything, that's for sure. I'll tell you, I've been humbled and I've lost more than I've won, that's for sure. But I do know a few things about marketing, and that's kind of what this is about. So I'm sure I can learn 1 to 500 things from each of you guys, right? So the best student wins, and I'm always learning. Every single person I meet. I mean, I learn from homeless people. I promise you. Like, I learn from every single person I meet. I'm always a student, right? I want to stay as humble as possible, and I always want to be a student. So, with that said, let's kind of dive into some of this stuff. And so, understanding your audience, you got your cold audience, strangers in your market. Let's just talk about that for a second. Most of the agents that I've been working with recently have been always off a referral business, and now all of a sudden the referral business kind of dried up because there just hasn't been as much inventory, there hasn't been as much activity, interest rates went up, NAR settlement, all the stuff that you can kind of start to blame the market on. But the reality is that you have to learn how to work with people you do not know, right? Referral business is great. That's gravy, right? That's the gravy on the top. That's the easy one. You got the bandana off and you're hitting the pinata with your eyes open, right? Like that's the reality. And that's what it feels like when you land a funnel, right? You're not just taking a swing with a blindfolded, right? That's what it feels like in real estate. You're just taking swings at stuff and you're chasing shiny objects and you're trying to hit the piñata to make the candy fall. But when you have a funnel that's crushing it, like you literally have blindfold off, big jumbo bat, and you're just nailing that piñata and you're getting candy to fall every single time, right? And that's the reality of when you get this thing set up right. So, are you retargeting your cold audience with your ads? I mean, how many people have landed on your website this week, this month, right? You probably don't know. If you do, I'm surprised. And what if there was a tool that you could, every time someone went to your website, you instantly got their name, number, and email, whether they decided to register or not? How beneficial would that be, right? And you got it for 49 cents, right? How unbelievable would that be? So leads, people who are actually giving you your contact. The reason why I know what we do works is because majority of you guys came through our Facebook funnel. And so every single one of you guys saw my ad on Facebook, you registered, and now you're here. And my man Riley brought me my coffee. Thank you, brother. So great agent in our office. So, and then the sales process, right? Understanding like the sales process of advancing towards the sale. So all of these are different stages of the business. And we want to take people who do not know you, you retarget them, they become a lead, and all of a sudden they're doing business with you. And a perfect example is this is last New Year's, we were at the casino. I'm not a big casino fan, but I was at the casino with our family, and we were walking into like the place we're gonna eat. And this one guy says, "Hey, you're Kyle Kunkel, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Man, I want you to sell my house." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I want you to sell my house." I said, "Great." We met with him for coffee, listed his house to like that next week. We sold it in 30 days for cash for a little bit more than what we thought it would sell for. And we also helped him buy something. So from him just recognizing who I was in the marketplace, saying, "Hey, I watched your podcast. I want you to sell my house." I didn't have to do anything. All the heavy lifting was removed, right? He already knew who I was. He trusted me. I never met in my life, and he trusted me. Like, that's crazy. And so that's what we want for you guys. We want you guys to be able to have a cold audience, and you retarget them with all the different things that we're going to teach you, and you have value that you're adding to them, and they become a leads, and all of a sudden they're shaking your hand saying, "Hey, I want you to sell my house," right? And would I consider that a referral or like sphere? Yes, but my sphere got so much bigger because of what we're doing digitally, right? Because what we're doing, and don't get me wrong, I think mailers work, but there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. And am I going to send a bunch of mailers, or am I going to run a retargeting ad for $5 or a few bucks a day and have the whole city see me every time they open their phone, right? There's different ways of doing things. So I wanted, let me see if this video plays. So I wanted to share with you guys what we're doing. And one of the tools that we're using is this cash offer tool. I think I mentioned we put like 55, 56 homes in this system. We've had 200 cash offers. And I mentioned that, right? And so I'll share this quick video. It's a high level of what we're doing and what we're giving to agents. And we're calling it our cash cow. And we only have so many of these cash cows to kind of give away. And so I'm glad that you're here. I know there's a lot of people who ask for the recording of this and stuff like that. But the people who are here are going to get access to it first. And it's not going to cost you a dime. And I'll share about what that looks like later on here. But let me play this video and then we'll go into the next one. Hold on. Show about 7-8 months ago, and he's like, "This is going to change the game." I saw it on Friday for the very first time, and I felt like I could take over the world. So we've already put 17 properties in here into our platform. Let me go to the dashboard here. We put 17 properties in here, got 78 offers. I don't know how many of you guys would want 17. All your properties get multiple offers. We put 2 under contract. We've gotten 5 new listings. We've gotten 6 listing appointments a day. I have 2 today, 2 tomorrow. So it's just it's getting fun out there. So anyways, this property, we're going to close here in 3 weeks. All right. I need to update the video because we have 55 properties in there, and it's been like a week, a little over a week. And it's been the holidays too, right? So, and let me go to the next slide. So with that said, this is our personal property, an Airbnb we have. And so we'll close that here before Christmas. So it's going to be a good Christmas. But here's some of the offers that we got on it. Your net offer, stuff like that, some of the different companies. So you can see all the different, trying to go to the next slide. I thought I had this figured out. I guess not. So the next slide is another tool. And I mentioned it a second ago, but people land on your website, you instantly get their name, number, and email. We have another tool where literally someone types in like selling my house in St. Louis, or how much is my house worth in Jacksonville, Florida, right? And so let's say they say that and they type that in on Google, and you instantly get their name, number, email, and address, right? You can't text them because of privacy laws, but you can call them, right? You can send them an email, and you can send them, if they type in cash offer for my home, and then all of a sudden you send them an email with a cash offer for their house with a picture of their house saying how much they're going to get for their house, like how crazy is that? And so that's the level of where technology is, right? Someone can just type something in on their phone and you instantly get their data. And so that's how it's working. That's how it works. And so I'm not going to play the video just because I think I have the speed up, and so I can slow it down. Okay, cool. And so anyways, we'll play it. I've told you before, when you have that search tool and someone types in cash offer for my home, and you can instantly get their name, number, email. Now, there's also the tool where they land on your website and you instantly get their data. I mean, these are leads for under $1. These are leads for 50 cents. I mean, the game is changing. It's gangster. But let me show you what happens on the back end. So here's the different campaigns we've run, our Durango sellers. So you can see here that someone comes into our system. We got all these zip codes. We got, list luxury property, Durango home listing. So we go and grab the top keywords that we believe that we want to work. Durango listings, Colorado property, real estate agent, Durango realty estate. Now it just depends. And then what it does, it goes into our automation system, and then it triggers it. So it calls them twice. And then if they come into here and we get an internal notification, might say it's inside sales assistance, sends them a text message, an email, then another text message, and then an email, text message, email. So it does all the work for you. And then basically my inside sales system just makes that connection, talks to them. But it could easily be you. You just got to pick up your phone. So imagine getting leads for $1 and having a system that automatically follows up with them, and then you're only speaking to people who want to speak to you. It's a beautiful tool, and it's changing the game now. Instead of having to get 2,500 leads for 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand, now you can get them for $1. Let's go. This video isn't playing. I need to update it. But it was one of my agents, Ty, talking to a client about our cash offer for him. His house is it's a nice house. He's a doctor, so doctors make good money. And so anyways, it's like a 1.4 house, $4 million house. And we got, a handful of offers for him, and he just like couldn't believe it. And we hadn't even listed his house yet. And there's a few strategies with this. We're actually like taking homes to the marketplace, saying that we have a cash offer. After 10 days, we'll call for offers, and we'll let people know we have an offer, and people want what they can't have. And so all of a sudden people are putting in offers, and now you have multiple offers, and that's how it works. So, and it's nice to negotiate knowing what your bottom line is. And these are like close to market value, if not market value, for people's homes, right? So some people don't even, like one gal I talked to, and she's like, this is awesome. I don't have to have take my dog for a walk, or like clean up the house with my dog hair, and like do all this stuff, and have the house sit on the market for 3, 4, 5 months, and have random people walking through my house. Like, people like this. And so, I mean, it depends on the client, but that's a convenience. People like convenience. All right. Waterfront funnels. So I'm going to share with you a few of the funnels that are crushing it right now for us. We have our oceanfront condo funnel running. This is out of, I believe, West Palm area with our client. And she's spending, we got 383 leads, 22,000 reach, 2.21 frequency, meaning that so many times they saw the ad. And it costs about $3. So 1% conversion rate. So your customer acquisition is $300, right? So if you could spend $300 and make $10, $15, $20, $30,000, would you do it? Right? The answer is yes. And so it's a numbers game. And so did it take her 383 leads? Yes, but that's okay. It doesn't, like, I will spend $300 all day to make 10, 15, 20 grand. It's a no-brainer. Okay. So now I'm going to show you guys some of the back end of how it works. So access to waterfront funnel.
condo deals in the area, cold traffic, lead generation. So we take people and we're running like, hey, let's get you your top like 10 lists of new deals in the area. We'll hit them with some retargeting stuff. Here's kind of what the ad looks like. You want to take a picture of it. But you got our oceanfront condo picture. We got the copy. We got, hey, and this is what the thing, I'll talk about this. Or I'll just keep going. And then we have them putting in their info. Thanks, you're all set. We'll contact you. Here's the rest of the ads that we're running. So we have our new construction funnel. This is some of the best funnels out there. If you got new construction in your area, it absolutely crushes it. It's what James made $409,000 on his first year in a new market. We had Logan who made he got 16 deals his first year being in real estate, super young cat. Instant cash offers, our Spanish funnel. If you speak Spanish, throw it in the chat because you're going to be happy. Your cost per lead is like super cheap. But yeah, there's just less competition in that area. But here's what I know. I know what works. Like our team has spent over $1 million on ad spend. So we know what copy works. We know what picture works. There's a reason why all of these houses are white. Like there's certain things that work. And so it's like, hey, I know how, if you knew how to get somewhere to go from St. Louis to Jacksonville, Florida, and you knew how to get there the fastest, would you and it was the same cost, right? Or it's never going to be the same cost, but if you had the ability to pick it, right? Wouldn't you just jump on the jet and just fly there? Or are you going to take a bicycle there, right? You could even have, and here's another analogy, right? Like, so if you could have the perfect everything. You could have the perfect car, you could have the map, you could know exactly where you're going, you could have all the family packed up, and all of a sudden you go to turn on the car and there's no gas, you ain't going anywhere, right? So you need to understand what your fuel is. You need to understand what drives you, what's going to wake you up in the morning. And a lot of times it's bigger than you, and it should be. It's your family, it's your kids, it's your parents, your grandkids. I mean, there's got to be something that's bigger than you that's driving you. And that's your fuel, right? And that's why all you guys are here, because you guys want to better yourself. You want to figure out, hey, how can I become better in my market? How can I become the best, right? And that's what I love about people who jump into these webinars is they're a student of the game. So landing pages versus lead ads. There's a lot of people run ads the wrong way. We run lead generation ads. Now, these are going to be more expensive, but you're actually getting people's info, right? We got all of your info when you came through our lead ad, right? You came in, we got your name, your number, your email, your address, and you gave it to us, right? And so that's the same thing. People are going to give you their info because they want to know what you have, right? And they want it. Here's the follow-up campaign. So that I mentioned this a little bit in the video, but not having the automation, right? AI and automation is not going to replace people, but it is going to replace the people who aren't using it. And so I can't tell you how, and you don't have to be super young, right? You can just figure out who's got the right system, and then you can just plug into that system. And it's like the power source, right? If you got your computer and you're not plugged into the wall, eventually it's going to die. And that's that's where I feel like a lot of real estate agents are. NAR has settlements right now, or not NAR settlements, but NAR has stats out there like 85% of the real estate agents who are in the business will not be in the business in the next 5 years. And that could be for a number of reasons. And that stat was like a year ago, so we should update it. But the reality is that the game's changing, and so you have to change with the game. If you're playing, if you're playing quarterback and you see the defense shift, right, you may call audible at the line to shift your play, right? As things shift, you have to shift. If you do not shift, it will not work. And so, and it may for a little bit, but things will change. And so I'm glad that you guys are all here. So our contact ratio, that is what we keep up. We do our contact ratio, 40%, 46% of contact. They're contacting us, right? When I get on the phone, when I get stuff put into my calendar, like I have a call later today with a gal, they're booking my calendar to talk to me about their cash offer, right? I'm not chasing them. They're getting into that's a nice place to be at, right? You want to be in a place where people are wanting to talk to you because your offer is so good, right? They're not being like, stop calling me. They're saying, hey, I want what you have, and you have it. So let's, that's just how it goes. So here's the automation. we figured out what works, what doesn't work. If you can have a 50% conversation ratio, that's what you want. Now here's what we're doing on Facebook, right? Our Facebook lead funnel for cash offer, our cash offer that's crushing it right now. We're using the AI leads, right? The AI search leads, the AI people landing on your website leads. That's what we're using, and that's what's crushing it. Now this will still work. And so I'm just showing you what's worked, and we don't even have slides out for what's like crushing it right now and what we're giving to our agents, just because it's just moving so fast, right? We haven't even put it into, we don't even have the numbers yet of what's going on. So, but 71 leads, 19,000 reach, 2.14 frequency is how many times they saw the ad, and then $12. But I would still spend $650 to acquire a customer, to make 10, 15, 20, 30 grand. I would. It's a numbers game, right? And if you got predictability, if you knew that you needed to spend $650 to make 15 grand, how many times would you spend $650? You'd spend it as many times as possible, right? All right, here's kind of how the lead form's coming in. Here's the express offers we used to use. We have a new platform now, but our contact ratio, 49%. I mean, people who are raising their hand for a cash offer, they're usually like, we're seeing a very high conversation ratio. Like that's what we track. I know a gal mentioned she had an inside sales assistant. That's what I track with my inside sales assistant. I track his conversation ratio, right? Because that's what, and as an agent, you should know, like, how many people am I talking to? How many people am I having a conversation with how many of my leads, right? So let's just do, because once you can create a list of 100 people that are going to move in the next 12 months, you can be super hyper focused with how you market to them. They can get every YouTube you get, they can get a letter from you, you can knock on their door, right? That 100 people of looking to, like, all you need is a list of 100 people looking to make a move. And if from that you close 20% of them, which is low, I think you could close higher. That's 20 deals, right? There's your 20 deals for the year, all with one thing. All right, new construction funnel. This is my favorite. We've actually started a new construction company. We're starting on 3 specs this winter with my business partner. He's in construction, but we're doing it because we know we can sell it on the back end, right? We've raised $1.8 million, and we know we're going to make $1 million when these all sell. And so when you have the marketing, you can go partner. And here's the thing: people are like, "Oh, you spend so much in marketing dollars." I don't spend $1 in marketing. I mean, I have vendors. Vendors pay for my marketing. That's the magic, right? You're not spending your own marketing dollars. You have vendors that are spending money for you to market, to be able to give them the lead, give them the value. See, these are, we're not going to go into how we do that. But anyways, new construction funnel is the best working funnel out there, in my opinion. And so 177 leads, 13,000 reach, 1.74 frequency, cost per result 364. So if it's $3.50 to acquire, like, to per lead, that's not bad. And $200 to acquire a customer. This is what we usually start majority of our agents on, is this funnel, right? This funnel is awesome. People want new even if they can't afford it. We had people like Kristen who landed $1 million listing because she found somebody who was looking for new construction and they had to sell their house first, right? So people who want something usually will look, and if they're moving horizontally in the marketplace, like, they're usually like, they may have to sell something before they buy, right? And so you're getting double-sided here, which is great. Maybe even triple. All right, so new construction offers primary versus secondary homes. And then here's kind of how it works, right? You have your lead ad, you have your Facebook lead form. That's so they see the ad, they come into the lead form, and then they get sent your IDX website. And your IDX website maybe has the top 10 new construction funnels in or new construction homes in a community. And then they start going through your pipeline. If you don't have a pipeline, we have our new lead, contacted, working hot, appointment set, buyer agreement signed, showing, under contract. Like, if you don't have a pipeline, then people are going to fall through the crack and they're going to work with somebody else, right? I don't know about you, but I don't like 10, 15, 20 grand slipping through the crack, right? So you need systems, you need processes. And here's the thing, like, you can run your business off of talent. I've done that. But you can only go so far. You need systems, you need processes, and you need help, right? You need to be able to delegate. And maybe you're great at sales, and maybe you're great at showing people property, or maybe you're great at doing the TC work. But I call it the TC work because that's what it is. Like, you should not be doing your own contracts. Like, you shouldn't. You should look at them, but you shouldn't be writing them. You shouldn't be doing all the paperwork stuff. Like that is not where your time is best spent. Your best time spent is in the presence of your client, is in front of your client. And so, yeah. All right. Contacting them. So they go through our tracked ROI system, which is our CRM system my business partner built. And so they get a phone call, a text, an email, and then they go into the retargeting, incentives. Hey, when we run a new construction, they maybe get a secondary YouTube video saying, hey, if you work with us, we have these builder incentives where you could save 20 grand. So now they're reaching out to you saying, hey, I want to know what these incentives are. So it's almost like the bait, and then you follow up with like, what's the right word? It's like you, I mean, you basically get them in. It's like a home value. It's like, hey, people were raising their hand because they want to know how much their home is worth. And then all of a sudden you give them the cash offer. It's kind of like that. Like people are interested in new construction, but then you give them it's like the cheese, mouse and cheese kind of. I need to come up with a better analogy, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. And if you don't, you can ask me later. Yeah, so these are the ones that are crushing it. Let me keep going. Our Spanish funnel, love the Spanish funnel. And $2.17 per lead. That's super, super cheap. So if you're in a Spanish speaking market and you got a REIT and you have somebody on your team that speaks Spanish, you definitely need to start running this because you're going to dominate. So here's the question I have for you guys. Who thinks they could be doing a better job of leveraging video and social media to grow their business? I think all of us could raise our hands, right? So who thinks they could double their business and establish a different value proposition, use irresistible offers to get listings? I think all of you guys could. Generate unlimited inbound leads for proven campaigns and funnels, leveraging live video and social media to turn strangers into clients, and rely on systems and processes to scale your business by doing less, right? I'm not trying to make you work endless hours. I'm trying to make you, I talked to Brian the other day. He's like, hey, this is my goal, Kyle. I want to close business with my laptop and my phone in the Sea of Cortez on a yacht. And I was like, all right, man, I love it. There's your dream. Let's go. And so here's the thing. If you guys can get outside your current reality, then you can start to dream big, right? 3 weeks ago, I was at a multifamily conference in Dallas. And I saw this for the very first time. And when I saw it, I was like, man, I feel like I can take over the world. And that's what we've been doing for the last 3 weeks. I mean, we got 56 homes inside of a funnel where we got multiple cash offers, 4 listings, or 4 under contract, 9 new listings, like under contract to close, right? I mean, it's crazy. And so you guys got to dream. You got to be able to get outside of your current reality and dream bigger than where you're currently dreaming. And so I'm going to run a next Tuesday. I'm running like a private, you'll get an email about it, but I'm running a private event for goal setting. And this will be a little bit different. It'll be a little bit more Q&A throughout it. But we're going to help you set your goals and help you dream bigger. And then we're going to set the next week, depending on the time frame, we may do a strategy session on how you're actually going to hit those goals. Because it's good, you can have a pipe. If you just had a dream and you didn't have the strategy on how you're going to execute the dream, then you just got a pipe dream. It's just you're daydreaming, right? It's good to dream big, but you need the strategy to go along with it. All right, let's keep going. All right, so let me ask you guys a question. If my team was willing to help you create a plan to build and launch a funnel, would you want to help, right? For those who said yes, why would you? So now for the good news and the bad news, let's start with the bad news. The right funnel will make your phone ring, right? You got to be willing to answer your phone. But would you mind if it was a qualified buyer or seller looking for an agent? For those who want to start generating business consistently every week, here's the good news, right? Whether you're a new agent or you want to build a team or want to expand into other markets, we can help you. In fact, what if I said my team and I could just help, we could just build a funnel for you. Literally write all the copy, the ads, set up the campaign, build out the follow-up, all that stuff. Everything you needed to turn on leads in your business, like turning on a water faucet, right? It's like you're just turning on the water faucet and you're just like soaking up all the goodness. I call it a water. It's like a waterfall faucet. Imagine every lead was put into a proven contacting campaign. Then they started calling you, texting you, and emailing you every day. Want more listings? We have a funnel for that. Want to build a team? Want to know how many leads you need to do that? Imagine having access to everything you needed. You need to get back on track to hit your goals. Like we got you. Want to make 2025 the best year yet? Let's go. Want to take over a farm? Not a problem. Let's build a hyper-targeted custom audience. What if you could grab every single phone number, email, address in a certain neighborhood, and then you could retarget them on Facebook for pennies? Want to be the go-to luxury agent in your market? Let us help you. Imagine no more guesswork. Instantly having access to every system, tool, process we've ever created in the business. And if that's not enough, imagine if we did all this and never charged you a dime or took a percentage of your commission. The result would be you'd have instant growth. You would never have priority confusion. You would know exactly what to do. You'd be fully trained with a roadmap and a team of rock stars to help you get there. You'd be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. Are you interested? Like wondering like how the heck does this even work? Well, I'm glad you asked, right? We are partnering with agents, helping them execute all the tech stuff, all the technology stuff that you don't want to deal with, even if you're good at it. The typically that is holding you back from being able to be the best, being in the presence of your client, right? We identify what's actually working in your business and what's not working, what things you need to do more of, and what are things you need to stop doing. The formula is actually really simple. We're going to define where you want to be in the next 36 months. And then we're going to accelerate the process and help you guys get there in the next 90 days. Obviously, partnering with someone is a hands-on process. So I think it's best for all of us if we just look at your current business and create your plan for free, right? We'll set up a 30-minute call. We'll look at where your business is, and then we'll say, hey, this is what I would do. It's like chess, right? This is where you're at, and I'm going to come in and say, this is what I would do, right? If partnering makes sense moving forward, we'll look at that. If you meet our criteria, here's what we'll do. We're going to set up a strategic plan call, review our current business, and create a personal economic model. We'll create a lead generation model and a marketing plan. We'll do the math, reverse engineer your goals, and get a clear plan on how you're actually going to hit them. We'll review your options to partner, grow a team, expand your business. Who is this for? Those who understand the value of systems and can follow a process, care about the client and service they provide, committed to learning and growing on a higher standard of training, leveraging the power of marketing, lead generation, building a personal brand. Those who are humble, hungry, and smart, not so busy you can afford to spend time with me for 3 days or on a Zoom call or jumping on calls to be able to figure out what we need to do to get you to that next level, right? So let me get one thing clear. I'm not trying to sell you some coaching program. I'm not trying to sell you some lead generation system, but we'd be delighted to coach and build one for you. What we're offering to do is partner with like-minded agents and not charge them a dime and help them grow their business. And if you'd like to know more about what that looks like for free, strategic, at no cost, no obligation, here's what I'll do. Jump into our 7-star strategy call. I'm going to give you the link. It's going to give you my survey, a quick survey, and then you can grab a time on my calendar for this week. And then I have some video testimonials I'll play for you guys to check out. So, let's see. All right. All right, we'll let you listen to Linda's testimonial here in a sec. Hold on, the chat's not showing up. Here it is. All right. Cool, let me share my screen.
Surprised with the quality of the leads that I'm getting from this funnel that was just set up by comparison with Boomtown leads.
Yeah.
Boomtown, we get such a low response. We just don't. These leads, I noticed it today.
So here's some of the people we've worked with. So Louis, he landed a 3.2 apartment complex from this. He actually is closing on another $3 million. I think it's 3.8. And he's closing on that this week, which is great. We got Judy. She actually did one of our surveys, our dominant listing agent survey. She had a database of like 600 people, and she didn't know majority of them. And she sent that out, and she ended up closing on. She got four new clients from that. So zero ad spend. All she did was send out a survey. And then I mentioned Kristen and Landry, their testimonials earlier. Here's a text from Kristen this April, right? She said, hey, I got my $1.19 million lake listing that came from the cash cow. So that's what you guys will be getting here for free is that cash cow.
About 3 or 4 funnels. We're working on the new construction funnel, looking to, I already pulled up Fox News to figure out what I could do to identify the person there to get on TV so that we can start running on that. We've got, Jake, how many leads did you set appointments with?
So we got guys who are running teams, right? They're running 3 funnels. They set 2 appointments a day, 8 under contract in the first 2 months. That's awesome. We got Melissa, first 2 weeks, 212 leads, 5 showings, 2 under contract, $10 a day on her ad spend. She was running the waterfront funnels.
That was the fastest that I got someone under contract from this funnel lead. They seen my ad. So what they seen was this video here. Okay. And then she was like, hey, well, is Foxwood available? And here's the thing. So technically, now that I'm thinking about it, this video that I shot in that area, she wanted to go there and check it out. She was looking about essentially 6 to 12 months, and she's now under contract to close this month.
Got her under contract in
Yeah. The other lady that we closed was from California. They're now selling their house. They put a big down payment, and now I'm about to list their house. So that's all from the funnel, by the way. So but I have some people that found me on YouTube, and I didn't even know they found me on YouTube until they walked into my open house that I was having. And I was talking, I was like, hey, you guys gonna leave a little speak. They were like, oh, don't worry, we're not leaving. I said, oh, okay. So come to find out, they've been watching my YouTube, and they were like, yeah.
Is do this on your own and then sit down with your spouse and say, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking, right? This is my goals for the year. How does this line up with you? But like, go here on your own by yourself first, and then bring it to the table, right? Especially if you're like, you would consider yourself the leader in the family. If you're the leader in the family, then you should be leading and like saying like, hey, this is the direction I want to lead our family in. And I just wanted to align with you. But go here on your own first and then bring it to the table and make some adjustments there. But if you just come, like it's not as effective if you're just like, yeah, let's plan together. And then like, it's just like, it doesn't work, right? But if you're like, you know, I'm going to say especially to the men, like the men in the family, like you should be leading your families. And if you are, then you're going to come to your wife and say, hey, this is the direction I want to see our family go. This is like the way I want to see our family go. What do you think? What should we add? What should we take away? But already having something, and they're going to have great insight. They're going to see things that you don't see. But come with something. Don't just come with a blank piece of paper. And that's not sexy. All right. I'll just say it. I'll just be honest. So that's really what I have for you guys. I threw that stuff down in the chat. You guys should be able to access everything. So there's the Google Drive, there's the calendar. I ran through a lot of things super fast. If you want the recording, let me know. I'll send it to you.
Hey, Kyle, I'm sorry to interrupt, man. The link to the drive is actually request access. So it's not open, letting you know.
All right. I'll do that. Hold on just a second. Giveaway, share. You're right, Louis. Thank you. Louis is always right.
Thank you, man.
All right, there it is again. Cool. So you should be able to click on that. I'm going to add a few more things to that, like the 12-week plan. There's a video. There's some AI tools. So that'll be kind of like a good resource for you. So definitely check those out. Go to file, make a copy. And my encouragement between now and the new year, put it on the calendar, because if you don't, it's going to get filled up and the year is going to be over before you know it. Like, find a time, at least 2, 3, 4 hours a day, you know, go up into the mountains, go into the beach, get away, and figure out, like, what does this next year look like? Do your 1 year, do your 3 to 5 year, like, do live in the realm of possibility, right? Don't hold back when you're first, like, just throwing people, because you want to be able to be like, okay, you want to dream big, and then you want to set smart goals to those dreams, right? You don't want to start small, like specific, measurable, attainable, risky time frame. You want to start big, and then start to hone it in with the how, right? You want to, yeah, you want to dream big, and yeah. So that's how I believe you take a quantum leap. It's really that formula. It's if I go back to the slides, but it's really the formula of one, dreaming big, but your passion plus your talent times association times your action plus your faith, and then being surrounded with the right people that help you think bigger than you. That's what it's about. So, cool. And having the right tools. We got somebody jumping in. It's late. I'll take any questions. Any questions from anybody? Yes, man. All right. Well, I appreciate you
Well,
guys.
Kyle, man, I just want to say how grateful I am for all this, dude. And thank you so much for taking the time and having us all on this call. And I think this is very invigorating for me, at least, and inspirational for me to, you know, get my ducks in order before next year. So thank you so much, man. And thank you for everything you've done for me this year, my brother.
Yeah, let's go, Louis. I'm excited for you, man. You're going to crush it. Everybody on this call is going to crush it, right? So
Appreciate everything,
go.
Kyle. Greatly appreciated, sir.
Yep. Thanks for your time,
Absolutely.
man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Adios, guys. Later, Brian, Brandon, Mike, Jesse, Willie, Ty. Let's go.
Let's go.
Dulce. All right. Have a beautiful end of the year, and reach out.